Hello friend, this is a new series that I'm trying to produce which is called Gameplay Review, especially Invasions, where I'm just looking at old recordings from my past invasions and trying to figure out what I could have done better, also how to improve in future invasions, and trying to basically make a game plan on how to improve my gameplay. So this is the pilot episode, I guess. I've got 3 invasions lined up for you with commentary. The first 2 invasions are invasions that I've won, and the last one is an invasion that I've lost. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed the clips and the commentary, and if you liked the video, leave or smash that like button, as they like to say. And yeah, would appreciate any comments on how to improve the series, and looking forward to seeing you soon. Okay, let's start with the first recording. This is me invading at Lernia at level 40 or 50, not 100% sure, on my new character that I've been leveling to level 70 to exclusively do invasions with. So the first thing the first part of an invasion is trying to figure out what you're invading, if it's a gank or if it's a gonk, so players just playing the PvE, and usually the ganks focus on the PvP aspect of the game, while the gonks try to just play PvE in co-op and then get invaded. So from the first looks of it, this looks like a gonk, so just normal people playing PvE, which means usually it's safe to approach, and usually they're not that good at PvP. So this is just me trying out free throws, just playing around, see how they react. And here we can immediately see that one player, this guy here, is trying to zone me, so he's basically trying to get around me. So once you see all of the players that are part of the invasion, try to keep track of where each player is. So usually I try to have all of the people in the camera, or in my field of view. So here I'm trying to engage the guy who is trying to zone me. They realize that I've noticed him. Yeah, I love fire bombs, just great to mess around with, and especially in Elden ring, since you can craft on the fly, it's super useful. So you can see me here getting out of combat and then just crafting a few on the fly. So they decided not to approach, so it's now just me following them and seeing what they do, if they engage any PvE, and then trying to get my chance. And as we can see here, my first chance. So this is 1 second too early, or a few milliseconds too early. If I've gotten that roll catch there, there will be 1 player less. So this is, I guess, one thing that I could improve upon, or at least if you're trying to get better invasions, is try with a friend to see to get better at roll catching. Yeah, this also depends highly on the latency of the other player, what the timing is with the roll catch. So now they're just trying out their spells, I guess. They seem quite scared to engage, so they're playing it safe, which is always a good thing, because usually it's harder to play with a team that puts on a lot of pressure. So once they've started engaging, the usual thing I do is just run away and see if maybe one person falls back, or how they approach the whole situation. So here we can see the host going for the grace point, and the 2 furled fingers being quite aggressive. So this is a sign for me to actually engage. Also a great point here, having throwing knives. So you usually use the fan dagger throwing knives to pop the flask bubble there, but on these characters I didn't get to patches yet, so didn't have any, so I'm trying with the kukri, which doesn't work that well. So always keep fan daggers on hand. So here the interesting thing is that the third finger, or like the second finger, is still way back. So I guess that was designed for me to like start trying to kill one of those, either the host or the third finger. I tend to go for the fingers first because it's more of a challenge than just sniping the host and killing him first try. So yeah. Okay, so this is the first kill. You can see usually like newer players, they double roll, which is great, and why you as an invader or like a more experienced PvP player should not double roll, since it's easy to predict or like time the first roll to the second roll, and that's like how he got. So here I'm just switching up weapons because usually even beginners tend to like start recognizing your patterns, and having a big arsenal in your weapon inventory is quite good to just mix things up and have them wondering how you're going to play next. So that was a really close call. So here I should have like tried to reaction roll out of the stun lock from the two-handed guy. So yeah, that was a close call for me. That was super close. So one big mistake that I could do better in the future is try to heal as much as possible, especially in this case. If I go back a bit to see how much damage I took. So yeah, here almost all of my health gone, as you can see here. Let me see, does that work? Yeah, all of my health gone. I disengage and heal once, but I guess a second flask would have healed me to full, and usually two flasks close to each other, like next to each other, so like you hit flask once and then again, and that will heal you quicker than having a break in between. Although here we could argue that maybe the other guy would have hit me, but here he hit me nonetheless. So yeah, super close. I think there was 1 HP. Storm Stomp is also, or can also be used as a defensive tool to just like stun the enemy and then get away. So I'm using that quite a lot when I get butchered. Here, probably the better play would have been to just roll away and then try to heal and regroup. But yeah, I went for the R2 and got the second finger, and immediately like just start rolling away and trying to see what the host is doing, get enough time to heal up, and then to finish off the host. So yeah, again, usually after 1 kill I like to switch up the weapon, play around with different playstyles, weapons. So here we get PvE support, which is like, I guess, a death sentence for the host, since he now just has to play passively and try to heal. And also, like, if you see him, he's just like panic rolling all the way. So I guess the better way is to just like roll away until you get some breathing room and then try to run. Yeah, and here we get the killing blow. This is the second invasion on the same character at level 70 in Lane L. So here immediately we got 3 players. Also looks like they're playing through PvE. Instantly using my buff, which is a good idea if you play against 3 from the start. Usually, like if you're only playing against 1 or 2, I tend to wait with using the buff if there's like a hunter invading, and then buff afterwards. So yeah, the first thing that's going through my head here is how should I approach. So there are there's no PvE down here except I think 2 dogs. So my immediate strategy is to just like get past them. So in case of being pressured too hard, I can always retreat up to the tree trunk and get some PvE there. So I guess this is what I'm doing right away. So yeah, we have 1 Moon Veil, 1 Moonlight Greatsword, and then a Godskin Peeler, I think. So way too much pressure, especially with the Moon Veil, so I just go up here. This area is also quite good because it's very narrow, so usually like you can have this, you get this tunnel where you can manage the team better. So there's only like usually 1 person approaching at a time, so you can tunnel them, and then especially with the halberd or any like long poking weapon, you can just poke, retreat. So I guess that's what I'm like doing here. Yeah, and that's another thing that I didn't notice, but like started noticing. Usually, I guess in the War of Art and also like in Star Wars, if you have the higher ground, you're usually at an advantage. In Elden Ring, it's the other way around because the attacks, even if locked on, tend to go over the heads of the enemy, so quite unfortunate. So yeah, you can also see that actually the high ground can be an advantage, especially if you're dealing with weapon art spammers. So yeah, great advantage for me here. So yeah, here I'm just like trying to figure out how they're going to react. See what type of spells they're using. So here we see the first mistake. These Spear Guardians tend to be not that strong, but I think there's a phase where they buff themselves and get full health again. So if they pull an enemy and you can like prevent the enemy from dying, then that's a great asset to have. Yeah, and there goes the first finger. So this was just me switching the place so that I get the lower place so that I can then log on and continue hitting them. Yeah, this is me just being dumb lucky. So here I switched to the helper to Ice Spear because I thought like maybe I can snipe them from afar. Now we got a blue that's joining the fight. So yeah, here I've completely misjudged the range of that spell. So apparently if it's fully charged, then it will go quite far and will hit you if you're not careful. Yeah, and once they just start spamming spells, I tend to retreat and let them use up their FP. Here I'm looking for the PvE to get some support. So yeah, PvE doing all of the work for you. I have no idea what the blue is doing, to be honest. Which just leaves the host. So here again, just switching up. I like to do to use Claymore when I do 1v1, so I'm switching to Claymore. So here one thing to note is that guard break. So if we go back and see, so I didn't notice this when I was playing, I guess. It usually just tends to happen to me. So you see him rolling twice, and then you see him jumping, swinging, and then, yeah, you know if it's like a casual player that plays with shield, they tend to always keep their shield up, which is an easy guard break here. Also explains why he is doing so much damage with the Moonveil, almost no HP. Yeah, interrupt the heal, and then roll catch, and that's the second invasion. So for the third invasion, I chose an invasion, or a recording of an invasion that I did quite a while ago, so this is on a different character. And the interesting thing with invasions usually is that you can decide if you really want to win the invasion. So you or at least I tend to play more passively, try to like plan my moves better, or like make better trade-offs. That's the best way I can put it. And in this invasion, you can see at the beginning that I was trying to do that, like try to lure them out of this like small enclosure here, because it was like a 1v2. And at one point I just said like, yeah, fuck it. I'm just going in, guns blazing. And this was super fun because it was basically a duel in a very narrow space against two people. So yeah, you'll probably see like me doing a lot of, or at least trying to space and trying to outplay them. In the end it didn't work out, and quite fondly you will see why. So yeah. So yeah, here that's just me trying to lure them out. They're not having it, so just throwing some fire bombs. Yeah, this is the moment where I decide, fuck it, let's go all in. Yeah, this is the moment where I decide I need to change weapons to see if different tactic works better. So yeah, I guess the greatsword wasn't that good of a choice here, because you have somebody who's playing a greatsword themselves, so usually they know the weaknesses and advantages of the weapon. So yeah, not sure if the Zweihänder was a good choice here. Yeah, here also, if you are serious about playing PvP, turn the music off, or at least usually when I play I have like some lo-fi beats playing in the background, but I use the audio cues a lot. So here the poke could have come out faster. Maybe I could have interrupted the heal. Yeah, that was the moment where they got me. So I think it was like 3 hits following each other, taking the rest of my HP. So I think I will see that again. So first hit here, second hit, then basically getting stun locked because I don't have like 61 poise with this character and this level. And then the third hit from the curved greatsword. Yeah, obviously point down there as well. So this was quite a while ago. So I guess if I would have played the same situation today, I guess I would have won because I would have like chosen different weapons and also put more pressure on maybe one player, especially. Yeah, and that's one of my big weaknesses. I usually want to like kill all of the opponents, so I tend to focus on the phantom or like the orange phantom more, which I guess the host picks up upon, that he's almost not getting targeted, and then yeah. So yeah, that was it for the third invasion. I hope you enjoyed this commentary and the invasions, and see you in the next episode.